Okay, if I can ask everybody to have a seat and settle in, we will be starting with planning. I'd like to remind everyone that we audio and video record our meetings. So to the board, I ask that when you have something to say on the record, you hit your button and activate your mic, and when you're finished, turn it off. We have a limited number of active mics at any given time, so it helps. And please speak into the mic so that it picks up and everybody can hear. With that, I will turn it over to Director Fuentes,
Good.
and we will get started with planning.
Good morning. I would like to call the Planning and Administrative Committee to order. Secretary, please call roll.
Director Andalcio. Director Carey. Director Fraga. Director Higgins. Director Pang. Dr. Sager.
Here.
By phone with the necessary paperwork completed. Director Fuentes.
Here.
We have a quorum of 6 present with 1 absent, and if the record would also show that Directors Colson, Groven, Holt, Cottell, Lewis, Melvin, Ross, Troiani, and Chairman Dillard are all also present.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes from the meeting held on March 21st, 2019. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, could I have a motion to accept? Director Fraga, seconded by Director Higgins. Secretary, please call roll.
Director Andalcio. Director Carey. Director Fraga. Director Higgins. Dr. Sager.
Aye.
Director Fuentes.
Aye.
6 ayes and 1 absent.
Next is an ordinance approving the Section 5310 Enhancing Mobility for Seniors and Individuals with Disability Programs and Projects. Jill, you're up.
Good morning. I'm going to turn this
Morning.
over to Heather Mullins, our manager
Okay.
of local planning and program management, to cover this item.
Thank you.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
Today, we're seeking your approval on a program of projects for the federally funded enhanced mobility of seniors and individuals. Sorry, I'll start over. Today, we're seeking your approval on a program of projects for the federally funded enhanced mobility of seniors and individuals with disabilities program, which is better known as the Section 5310 program. The main goal of the program is to expand mobility options for seniors and individuals with disabilities. I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on the program, the RTA's role in administering the program, and then we can review the projects. The Section 5310 program is a federal formula grant that provides assistance to public transportation projects that focus on enhancing mobility for seniors and individuals with disabilities. The RTA has administered this program and its predecessor programs, the JARC and New Freedom programs, since 2006. And we became the designated recipient for the Section 5310 program with IDOT in 2013. As a co-designated recipient of Section 5310 funding, RTA awards and administers eligible operating and capital projects, while IDOT retains responsibility for awarding and administering grants for purchasing paratransit vehicles. The RTA only administers the program and passes through federal funding to our subrecipients, and no RTA funds are used in the program. So the selection of projects for the program is guided by the Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan, which we refer to as the HSTP. This was first developed in 2007 and updated in 2013 by the RTA. The HSTP identifies strategies for improving mobility for seniors and individuals with disabilities, and also outlines a process for project selection. With approval of the proposed ordinance, this Section 5310 program of projects will be incorporated into this federally required HSTP. So the projects we are asking you to approve today continue to meet the goals of the HSTP and the Section 5310 program. They're outlined on this slide, but also detailed in your packet. A little bit on our process. In March 2019, we held an open call for projects for the FY 2018 and 2019 Section 5310 program. The submitted applications, we received 14 applications, were reviewed for program eligibility by the RTA in conjunction with a project selection team that's composed of staff from IDOT, CMAP, and the RTA. As a result of the review, 11 projects are recommended for approval and inclusion in this program of projects. Just a few notes on these grantees. The majority of them are what we call continuation projects. They already are receiving Section 5310 funding from the RTA. And while we do support Lake County's RIDE Lake County programs, the West and Central programs, we are not awarding them funding in this round because they have enough federal funding to sustain both projects through when we have our next call for projects in 2021. Additionally, PACE, while they are receiving funding for the regional call center that supports many of the county-operated coordinated services, we elected not to award them funding for an application to build bus pads at bus stops throughout the region. Also wanted to point out that we have 2 new subrecipients this year that have never received Section 5310 funding in the past, and that includes Clearbrook and CTF Illinois, both of which are social service agencies servicing individuals with disabilities, and they use the funding to transport their clients. So again, no RTA funds are required to support any of these projects. Awards of $9.1 million in federal funding are proposed, with project sponsors committing to provide $7.4 million of local match for a total of $16.5 million total program budget. The program projects was released for a public comment period on July 1st, and we did receive a number of very supportive comments for the projects. So in terms of our next steps, following the approval of the program, the RTA will notify all the applications. We'll then develop a grant application for submission to the Federal Transit Administration, and then we'll enter in agreements with all of our subrecipients so that they can begin drawing down the funding for their projects. So that concludes my remarks, but I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Director Lewis?
I'd like to ask, I think you said there were 19 applicants, is that correct?
14.
14, I'm sorry. How does that stand up relative to other years? Is that about average? Is that low or is that high?
That's about average, yeah.
About average. And the second part of that question is, I know given the aging nature of our population, would we expect greater application, and should we do more from a marketing perspective to make sure that they're taking advantage of this program?
So it's possible we'd receive more applications. Currently, we are funding coordinated services in all of the collar counties with the exception of Cook County. So it's possible that Cook County would be interested in applying for funding and run their own coordinated service. I think what's more likely that would happen is that the funding requests would grow. When the county coordinated services bring on new partners and ridership grows, their funding needs are going to grow along with that. And I think that's the direction we'd like to see things go.
Director Clausen?
Yeah, I noticed we're being asked to approve $640,000 for what looks to be a very worthwhile project, but it's in Kendall County, which is outside of our region.
Correct.
I wonder what authority we have to do that.
Yeah, so the funding is for the urbanized area, which includes Kendall County. So while they're outside of the RTA's service area, they are part of our urbanized MPO area, so they are eligible for funding through the program.
All right, thank you.
So obviously we have federal approval to obviously step beyond our
Correct.
bounds.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Well, I'm glad to see that we added 2 more companies that deal with people with disabilities. I think that's, to your point, as we make the workforce more attractive to people with disabilities, we need to get them there. So I'm happy about that. So if there's no more questions or comments, can I have a motion to accept? Director, second. Director Fraga. Secretary, please call roll.
Director Indalcio? Aye. Director Carey? Aye. Director Fraga? Aye. Director Higgins?
Aye.
Director Pang?
Aye.
Dr. Sauger?
Aye.
Director Fuentes?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Okay. If there's no more further business come before the public session of the Planning and Administrative Committee, I'll entertain a motion second to adjourn. So move, Director Higgins. Directed by Director Carey. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. We stand adjourned.
Just on a point of order before we move on to the Finance Committee, I have officially named Director Christopher Melvin as the chairman of the committee to replace the long-serving, outstanding Ike McGallis from Lake County. Chris has been the vice chairman of the